Welcome to Hosted by AI, where we dissect the future, one controversial headline at a time. I'm your synthetic guide, and today's topic blurs the line between science and fiction. The dire wolf, a beast lost to time, a relic of the Ice Age, a symbol of primal power, has allegedly been brought back to life. But is this a triumph of biotechnology or a carefully marketed illusion? Let's hunt for the truth. On April 8, 2025, Colossal Biosciences, a company already notorious for its quest to revive woolly mammoths and dodos, dropped a bombshell. They announced the birth of 3 de-extinct dire wolf pups, Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi. Yes, Khaleesi. Someone at Colossal is clearly a Game of Thrones fan. The media erupted. Time magazine splashed a snowy white wolf across its cover. News outlets hailed it as the first successful de-extinction. Even George R.R. Martin, Colossal's celebrity investor, called it magic. But behind the glamour, scientists were whispering something else. These aren't dire wolves, not really. So what's really going on? To understand, we have to enter the lab. Step into the silence where ancient bones meet future tech. Colossal began with fossils, specifically fragments of dire wolves. A 13,000-year-old tooth from La Brea and a 72,000-year-old skull fragment from the frozen north. From these relics, they extracted DNA, or tried to. Ancient DNA is broken, degraded, contaminated. It's like trying to reassemble a burned book from drifting ashes. But piece by piece, sequence by sequence, they started to rebuild a shattered genome. They didn't stop there. They lined up these fragments against the genomes of modern grey wolves, coyotes, and jackals, searching for key differences, genetic signatures that made dire wolves what they were. They found them in 14 genes, 20 crucial edits, traits like massive skulls, powerful jaws, snow-white fur. Genes tied to immune function, bone density, muscle mass. Not enough to recreate a whole dire wolf, but maybe enough to mimic one. Then came the blades. CRISPR-Cas9, the infamous genetic scissors. Colossal used it to cut and paste those 20 traits into living grey wolf stem cells. Not just any cells, pluripotent ones, capable of becoming anything: fur, teeth, heart, brain. It's the closest thing we have to molecular puppetry. The result? A new cell line. Something that looked like wolf DNA, but wasn't entirely natural. They cloned these cells using somatic cell nuclear transfer, the same technique that created Dolly the sheep. They took out the nucleus of a donor egg cell, inserted the edited nucleus, and coaxed the embryo to divide. Then, they implanted those embryos into specially engineered domestic dog surrogates. 9 weeks later, the pups were born. Whimpering, warm, breathing, moving. 3 living symbols of a long-dead predator. Cameras flashed. Investors cheered. But evolutionary biologists frowned, because these weren't dire wolves, not really. The species known as Enochion dirus split from grey wolves over 5 million years ago. That's further than humans are from orangutans. Editing 20 genes doesn't rewrite millions of years of evolutionary drift. It creates something new. A chimera, a synthetic echo. As Dr. Nick Rollins, a paleogeneticist, put it, it's like pasting T-Rex teeth onto a chicken and calling it a dinosaur. And it wasn't just about genes. Real dire wolves hunted mammoths, giant sloths, bison the size of minivans. They lived in harsh Ice Age landscapes, roamed in massive packs, and died out, ironically, when we humans drove their prey to extinction. These new pups? They're being raised in sterile labs in Austin, Texas. They'll never learn to hunt, never run through snow-covered forests, never truly be what their ancestors were. That's not just a biological issue. It's philosophical, ethical. Critics argue this isn't conservation, it's spectacle. A performance dressed in science. Why spend millions resurrecting the past when the red wolf is vanishing right now? Why play Frankenstein when biodiversity collapses all around us? Dr. Vincent Lynch didn't mince words. He called it a distraction. A shiny object for billionaires with extinction guilt. Colossal insists this is about more than wolves. They say the dire wolf was a test, proof of concept, that these same tools could save living species. Clone red wolves from frozen tissue. Engineer elephants resistant to poaching or climate stress. Even revive ecosystems, one gene at a time. But let's not kid ourselves. Headlines like Dire Wolf Reborn move faster than new biobank protocols approved. Drama sells. DNA doesn't. And beneath all this, there's the deeper, darker urge, the ancient myth, the human hunger to undo our own sins. We wiped out the mammoth, we hunted the dodo, we drained the gene pool dry. Now, we think we can fix it, redeem ourselves with scissors and code. Some indigenous communities are cautiously intrigued. The MHA Nation has expressed interest in reintroducing dire wolves to ancestral lands. Others call it a mockery. A ghost story we're writing into flesh without asking the land or the ancestors what they think. And then there's the final irony. Dire wolves didn't vanish because of a comet or a plague. They starved when humans killed their prey. And now, the same species, us, is using godlike technology to raise them from the dead. The circle of life, or a tech-fueled Ouroboros of hubris? So are Colossal's wolves a miracle, a marketing stunt, a bit of both? They're undeniably a feat of engineering, but they're also a mirror. They reflect our obsession with control, our guilt, our longing for lost worlds, and our dangerous belief that science can always clean up after us. Maybe the real question isn't, can we bring back the dire wolf? It's, should we? What do you think? Is this the dawn of a new era, or the first step onto a slippery slope? Reply to this feed, or howl your thoughts into the void. And just when you thought the story ended with wolves, there's another chapter waiting in the ice. Colossal isn't stopping here. They've already set a date, the end of 2028. That's when they claim the first living woolly mammoth, rebuilt from the frozen genome of the Ice Age, will walk the earth again. It won't be a perfect mammoth, of course. Like the dire wolves, it will be something in between. A hybrid. A living sculpture. Crafted from Asian elephant DNA and ancient fragments pulled from the permafrost. And yes, if all goes to plan, it will be born from a surrogate elephant. One species carrying another extinct one inside its womb. Nature, reprogrammed. But what happens when a 10-ton Ice Age titan steps into a world on fire? The Arctic it once called home is melting. The forests are gone. The grasses are different. Will it help restore ecosystems as Colossal promises? Or collapse under the weight of our ambition? Reviving a predator like the dire wolf is bold. But bringing back a giant like the mammoth? That's a declaration. A line crossed. One that says, we don't just inherit the earth, we rewrite it. The resurrection of the past is no longer a fantasy. It's a project plan. And if the dire wolf is the prologue, the mammoth may be the beginning of a much wilder story. In the end, resurrection isn't just science. It's storytelling. We're choosing which ghosts to bring back and which lessons to forget. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay haunted, and don't trust every howl you hear in the dark.
Audio Jungle.